प्रवीण उडगे सर, IQAC कोऑर्डिनेटर डॉक्टर संजय काळे सर, डॉक्टर अनिता ढोले मॅम, डॉक्टर सुधीर गरड सर, अंबादास खिल्लारे सर, Dr. Patwari sir and Dr. Wadkar sir. I know very well that you all are waiting for the grade by the honorable speaker. But before that, I invite Dr. Anita Dole ma'am for the introduction of today's honorable speaker. Please ma'am, welcome.
Thank you sir. Good evening everyone. You are welcome to this grand national and international webinar series on occasion of Golden Jubilee year of the college. Shri Kumarswami Mahavidyalaya Ausa has organized a wonderful grand knowledge sharing webinar series with the aim of women empowerment and women dignity. This series is going on very successfully and systematically because of the efficient and motivational personality, respected Dr. Bedkar M.M. and all the resource persons and the punctual participants. I am very thankful to respected principal for giving me this opportunity to introduce resource person on this virtual platform. Many special thanks goes to organizing committee members and a big thanks to all the respected participants. Those are joining daily from all over India and abroad also, and they are making this series a very successful series. So it's my pleasure. I am here to introduce keynote speaker. Today's keynote speaker is Honorable Dr. Shalini J. Chahande ma'am, Department of Chemistry, Seth, Kesarimal, Porwal College of Arts, Science and Commerce, Kamptee. Title of speech is Biochemistry and Human Nutrition. Shalini ma'am is working as Assistant Professor in Department of Biochemistry at Seth Kesarimal Porwal College, Kamptee. Her qualification is PG Diploma Nanotechnology from Nagpur University, and she achieved PhD degree in Biochemistry from Nagpur University. The topic of PhD is immunomodulatory activity of some indigenous medicinal plants. She has published a number of research papers on national and international level and presented also. Recently, she has given the lecture under the popular lecture series organized by Indian Women Scientists Association, supported by PRNS-DAE. She got award of ICAR Junior Fellowship in the subject of Biochemistry, and she got award of UGC Junior Fellowship in Science and Humanities, including Social Science. Recently, she is awarded with the Bharat Ratna Dr. Radhakrishnan Gold Medal Award for Excellence in her field of the occasion of National Conference. She got a Best Academician Award for Outstanding Contribution in the field of agriculture on the occasion of National Conference on increasing farmer income, prosperity and food security in India. She edited one book with title Ecology Research and published chapters in books also. So with this introduction, I would like to request today's keynote speaker, Honorable Shalini ma'am, please start your speech. Thank you. Thank you ma'am.
Thank you very much ma'am. Thank you for your introduction. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. M.M. Bedkar sir, Principal, Shri Kumarswami Mahavidyalaya, Ausa District, Latur. Sir is so energetic and he is in the mission of empowering women, and that is the greatest strength of him. And I have more respect for him because such a venture he is doing. And I am also thankful for all the organizers who has given me this opportunity to present before you the work which I have in my credit. So, welcome you all the participants. So, I would like to start my presentation. I'll share my screen. Is this visible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.
Yes.
Today, the topic which I have been assigned is the biochemistry and human nutrition. Now, there is a strong relationship between biochemistry and human nutrition. What is biochemistry? Actually, for the layman, it is very necessary to know what biochemistry is. Biochemistry, here you can find two words. One is the bio and another is the chemistry. Now, what is this biochemistry? It is the chemistry of life. The living organisms or the living things, whatever the components they have, the study of it is, can be called as the bio. It is the chemistry of living things. So this includes organic molecules, their chemical reactions. Now, many of the people, they feel that biochemistry is nothing but the molecular biology. Why do they feel so? Because in biochemistry, we study the various biomolecules, the macromolecules. What are these macromolecules? They are the carbohydrates, the lipids, the proteins, the nucleic acids. So many of these molecules and are complex molecules called the polymers, because the monomers of the carbohydrates, the lipids, the proteins and the nucleic acids, they constitute the polymers. And these, they take part in the biochemical reactions. So biomolecules are based on the carbon. So the basic structure of these biomolecules are the carbon. Now, biochemistry is used to learn about the biological processes. Whatever processes are taking place in the plant or in the organism. A very beautiful thing about biochemistry is that biochemistry has both the parts. It plays an important role in plants as well as in the animals. So we have two branches in biochemistry. One is plant biochemistry and another is animal biochemistry. So we have a wide application in the animal life sciences. So biochemistry may be used to study the properties of biological molecules. So we study various molecules and the characteristics of them. For example, the characteristic of keratin, the hairs. So if a biochemist knows what the characteristic of a hair is, so he or she may be able to synthesize or develop the products which are helpful for the hair treatment. So for enhancement of curliness or for softness. So this is for the purpose of you can say decoration or you can say enhancement of the living things. So biochemists find uses for the biomolecules. So biochemists may use lipids as food. In majority of the ice creams, they are adulterated with the lipid molecules from the animal origin. So alternatively, a biochemist might find a substitute for whether they are natural or they may not be natural, but they can be used since they mimic the original one. So using their mimicry, they can be used in place of the natural one. So the biochemists help to develop artificial sweeteners. Nowadays, the people they are suffering from diabetes. So we have the artificials. These artificial sugars are the inventions of the biochemists. So biochemists help to provide or produce new products. Gene therapy is within the realm of biochemistry. Gene therapy is being used in many of the genetic diseases. Gene therapy can be used in many of the diseases which were considered incurable in previous years, but now they can be treated with the help of gene therapy. So the development of biological machinery falls within the realm of this biochemistry. So it is a very vast subject. Now what do we do? Being a biochemist, so you must be having the question, what do we do or what do the biochemists do? So we work in the chemistry laboratory as well as in the biology laboratory also. Some biochemists, they focus on the modeling. Modeling in the sense we are using the bioinformatics. In bioinformatics, we are modeling the DNA molecule or the RNA molecule, the drugs and all with the help of the computers, so that we can predict the fate of any drug, what will happen if it goes inside the body of an organism or the plants. So some biochemists work in the field studying a biochemical system in an organism, while some scientists they can work with the scientists and the engineers. Some biochemists are associated with the university like us. We are teaching and we are being giving knowledge to the students. So biochemistry is closely related to other biological sciences also. So what are those? It can overlap molecular genetics, pharmacology, molecular biology, chemical biology. So we have a vast field to study in biochemistry subject. Now, today's topic, what is the relationship between biochemistry and human nutrition? Now, human nutrition, in order to live, we have to consider what nutrition is. So, nutritional biochemistry is a very important topic. Now, this nutritional biochemistry deals with various studies in nutrients, food constituents, their function regarding humans and other mammals. So, nutritional biochemistry specifically focuses on nutrient chemical component, how they function biochemically, physiologically, metabolically, as well as what is their impact on the disease. So, we can predict by biochemically or physiologically studying any molecule what impact this particular molecule is going to have on the particular human being or the animal to cause a disease or health. Now, nutrition. I have told you about biochemistry. Now, biochemistry is related to nutrition. They are very closely associated. So, we can say that it is a biochemical nutrition. Nutritional is nothing but the body's requirement. Why the body's BMR is calculated for 24 hours. For each liter of oxygen consumed, it is calculated that the approximate amount of 4.825 calorie of energy is used. So, on an average, an adult male should have 40 kilocalorie per hour per square meter, while that of the female, the BMR is less in females, and that is 36 kilocalorie per hour per square meter. So, one thing is to be kept in mind, that the BMR is not a static property. It does not remain same for in every condition. It is dependent on your physiological and pathological states. If you are ill, if you are having any disease, then the BMR may change. So, BMR is higher in hypermetabolic states. See, hypermetabolic states are the states when, suppose you are exercising or at a greater rate, the heart beating is there. Hypermetabolic states arises when there is the disease like hyperthyroidism. Then during pregnancy is not a disease, it's a state of a particular time for a moment, and fever. So it is also higher in growing age groups such as children and adolescents. So in adolescents and children also you will find that the BMR is very high. Athletes and the individuals with higher muscle mass also have significantly higher BMR. So BMR is affected by age, sex, activity level, body mass and various pathological and physiological states. So you should not get confused if the BMR is more. Sometimes it is less and sometimes it is more. It is all dependent on the state of your body. If it is in a stable condition without any disease, then the BMR will be different, and if you are diseased, then the BMR will be different. Now, a very important factor, that is thermogenesis. See what happens, I'll give you one example of thermogenesis. Sometimes what happens, we feel that we are having fever, but actually if you take the thermometer and take the body temperature, you will find that you don't have the temperature. What is this then? Why we feel that the body is having the temperature? Here, whatever the reactions are taking place inside your body, that is the manifestation of those reactions. Now, thermogenesis is the process of heat production in the body to maintain the body temperature in warm-blooded animals. We are warm-blooded animals. Whatever the temperature in our surrounding is there, our blood tries to maintain that and keep our body at a stable condition. So, it is done through various methods. How thermogenesis is generated, or how the heat production is generated in the body? It is done by muscle movement. So, when the muscles of a body they move, the heat is generated. So, a proportion of energy produced to support muscle action is leaked from the electron transport system and results in thermogenesis. Now, here a very important aspect is linked to this is electron transport chain. Now, this electron transport chain, how the oxygen is generated and is supplied to the cells, and how the metabolic water is generated. Whenever the metabolic process takes place, we have a process which is called as the oxidative phosphorylation. In the oxidative phosphorylation, there are two terms. One is the oxidation and another is the phosphorylation. Phosphorylation of the ATP. ATP is adenosine triphosphate, which is a high energy compound. Now what happens whenever the electrons are transported through the various systems? There are various, you can say, transport systems, and they travel from the various carriers, and ultimately they give that to the molecular oxygen. So the energy in this form is travel, and during this process, if this coupling is lost, the coupling between electron transport and the oxidative phosphorylation is lost, then this results in thermogenesis. Similarly, shivering also results in thermogenesis by this mechanism. See, whenever we have high fever, that time also we shiver. Why we shiver? We shiver because of the thermogenesis. Again, the brown adipose tissue plays a very important role in thermogenesis. It has a unique property, a unique protein that uncouples the electron transport chain, resulting in leaking of the electrons from the chain. If the electrons, they don't travel their own path, then there is a breakage, uncoupling of the electron transport chain and ATP production, and here there is the generation of heat. So in this case, the energy lost ion from form of heat instead of being stored as ATP. So ATP is not produced, and then coupling doesn't take place, and molecular oxygen we don't get, and respiration here suffers. Now, these are the processes, EMR and thermogenesis. These are very related processes, and they are required for the body. Now, the building blocks, the macromolecules which are needed by the body, as I told you earlier also, that we have 4 macromolecules. One is the carbohydrate, another is the protein, then the fats, and the micronutrients like the vitamins and the trace elements. Now we will consider one of them. The first one is the carbohydrate. Now you all are very well known about the carbohydrates. Now this carbohydrates are very important because the brain has only one food, and that food is in the form of glucose. So our aim is only to produce glucose, because if the brain is awake, then only it will give the signals to the body to do whatever actions the body is needed to take. So the carbohydrates, they are very essential. What are the types of carbohydrate we take? We take starch, sugars, then cellulose. All these forms of carbohydrates we take. Now these carbohydrates present in all food grains, pulses, tubers, vegetables, see, the amount may vary, but carbohydrate is present in almost all types of food material. Then sugars. Now this starch is present in all types of food grains and pulses, but sugars, they are the disaccharides and the monosaccharides generally present in the fruits and vegetables in the form of glucose, fructose, sucrose. The sugar, table sugar which we take, it is nothing but the sucrose. So sucrose means it's a combination of glucose and fructose. Then the fructose, the grapes, which nowadays we have lots of grapes. The grapes, they contain the fructose, which is also called as the fruit sugar. It is also found in milk in the form of lactose, the lactose sugar. Glucose and fructose are examples of naturally occurring monosaccharides, lactose and sucrose. Now, very important another element is the cellulose. Cellulose finds application in case of the animals or the ruminants as well as in the plants. We have a little, you can say, importance, but for the derivation of energy, but it is very useful for other purposes. This cellulose is present in the as the structural elements of plant. So in all plants we can derive the cellulose. So it cannot be digested by humans. We cannot digest it, as do the ruminants. They can digest the cellulose very well, but it plays a very important role as roughage in our body, as a fiber in our body. So roughage provides bulk of our food. So it helps in formation of the tools. So the bulk helps in the movement of food through our digestive system and also has a role to play in digestion. It traps water in large intestine and also helps in its absorption. So this is the role of the cellulose. Now, a very important function of carbohydrate is its protein sparing effect. Now, what is this protein sparing effect of the carbohydrate? The protein sparing effect is When adequate carbohydrates are taken in the diet, the amino acid in the diet are spared. If in a body we have plenty of carbohydrates, then what will happen? Body will not use the amino acids which are present in the body. That means if in a plate you are having suppose 3-4 amounts of chapatis and you have a very little of the protein. Now since your body is having excess amount of carbohydrate which you have taken in your diet, the protein which you are taking has no function to play, so it will remain like that, and carbohydrates will take the whole function of the body. So this is called as the protein sparing effect. That is, protein is spared, it is not utilized. So carbohydrate, they are meant for this protein sparing effects, for energy metabolism and used for the synthesis of proteins in the body. So this is the role of carbohydrate. Then second molecule is the lipid. Lipids are very important again. Whatever amount of oil we take, whatever amount of butter we take, whatever amount of other things which constitute the lipids take, they constitute the fats of our body. They are very important. They act as a storage material. They are the structural elements of the cells and the tissue. Very important function of the lipids is they act as hormones and vitamins. So as a source of energy, it has a high calorific value, 9 kilocalories. See, when we compare the calorific value of carbohydrates and lipids, we see the difference in this. So lipids as a group is composed of hydrophobic non-polar organic compounds that are insoluble in water and soluble in organic solvents. So in our cell, we have a cell membrane. So here they are embedded in the cell membrane. They are basically composed of the triglycerides, fats and oils, cholesterol, cholesterol esters. Now, a very important aspects are they are divided into saturated, monosaturated, unsaturated and polysaturated. So, and they are divided depending on the number of the bonds present in the fatty acids. All polyunsaturated fatty acid cannot be synthesized in a body. So this is why we need it from outside. So the certain lipids that have essential fatty acid needs to be present in our diet to prevent the deficiency disease. So because of the deficiency of lipids also, we encounter many diseases. So essential fatty acids are alpha-linolenic acid, linoleic acid, arachidonic acids. So they mark up to 3% of the energy requirement in an adult and 5 to 6% of energy requirement in children. So children, they need more amount of fatty acids. These essential fatty acids are present in plant oil, rich in unsaturated fatty acids. Here you will notice one very important factor that everywhere I am saying unsaturated. This is very important because unsaturation is needed. If the lipids or the fatty acids are saturated, if the bonds are satisfied, then that will be useless for our body. So we need unsaturated fatty acids, and they are present in a good amount in the oils like canola oil or olive oils. Then we have the safflower, then we have soybean oil, or you have sunflower oil. Fish oil is also a good source of polyunsaturated fatty acids. Our diet should be rich, as I already told you, so I will not take this. Lipid also act as carrier of fat soluble vitamin. This also I told you. So certain fats acts as a hormone such as the steroid hormones. So they are very important role in the signaling process. The fats, they take a very important role in the signaling process. So they are very important. Then cholesterol, it is an important component in our diet. It is responsible for the structural integrity of the cell membrane. Every cell needs to be in its shape and size, then only the body will be maintained. So if the cell is disrupted, then it may lead to disease. So to maintain the cell structure, cholesterol is needed. So some amount needs to be taken exogenously. Therefore, we take the cholesterol. So nowadays people are saying don't take cholesterol and all, but see, cholesterol is not taken as such in the body. Cholesterol is synthesized in our body. Major amount of cholesterol is synthesized in the body. Whatever the material is required for the synthesis of cholesterol, that we take from outside. The egg yolk the yolk of an egg is rich. Excessive intake of this cholesterol is linked to atherosclerosis and cardiovascular disease. If you take excess amount of it, then it may lead to atherosclerosis and cardiovascular disease. Therefore, doctor advises us to take minimum oil in our food. So RDA recommendation for this cholesterol in adults and children above 4 years is 300 milligram per day. Then a very important macromolecule, that is the protein. Proteins form the major building blocks of a body, both functionally and structurally. Now, these proteins, they make our muscles, bones, cartilage, blood vessels, connective tissues, hair, skin, nails, all are mainly composed of the protein. So, these proteins, such as the actin and myosin, they are involved in the functions of our muscles. The enzymes responsible for all metabolic reaction in our body, they are basically the proteins. Then hormones are, most of the hormones, they are proteins. Cellular channels, the receptors for various signaling molecules. So these proteins, they act as the cellular signaling molecules also. So if we have a less amount of protein in our body, then what happens? In case of energy deprivation, proteins can also be broken down as a source of energy. See, whenever we have a less amount of carbohydrates in the system, in our body, then protein takes the action and they are degraded and we get the energy. So they have a calorific value similar to carbohydrate, that is 4 kilocalories. But their metabolism is much less efficient than that of the carbohydrate. Carbohydrates through glycolysis are broken down fast. But if you compare that with the proteins, then the metabolism of proteins is slow. So proteins are composed of amino acids. The individual elements are the amino acids. So there are 20 amino acids. So these 20 amino acids, they have the different functions. So in our body, 11 amino acids can be synthesized in the body from non-protein sources and hence deemed non-essential in our body. So 11 we don't need. But the rest 9 amino acids which cannot be synthesized in the body, hence we need to take them through the food, so that no deficiency state is created in the body. The 9 amino acids which we need daily, they are histidine, isoleucine, leucine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, threonine, tryptophan and valine. So all proteins are nutritionally equivalent when it comes to food. See, whether they are essential or non-essential or are required for the body. Now, we talk about the keratin, which is present in the hair. Certain proteins such as keratin undergoes nil digestion. Our keratin protein does not go in the process of digestion, while albumin present in the egg undergoes almost complete digestion. So, the nutritional quality of the protein has to be decided upon the balanced presence of all essential amino acids. Therefore, soybean is considered as a complete protein. Why soybean is called as a complete protein? Because it has all the essential amino acids present in it. Their digestibility, how much it is digested. If the more amount of protein is digested, then it is a good protein. Then biological value also. Biological value is nothing but the percentage of protein retained by the body. If the protein is broken down and if all the protein goes out of the body, then it will be of no use after digestion and absorption. So what amount is available or remains in the body, that is the biological value, and it is very important to have that. Animal proteins. Now a very important thing about vegetarians and non-vegetarians. Now the vegetarian diet and the non-vegetarian diet. Animal proteins are superior biologically as they contain all essential amino acids. Therefore, it is said that the people who are non-vegetarian, they get a superior quality of proteins. Why? Because the non-vegetarian or the animal proteins, they have all the essential amino acids needed in amount that are better digested and absorbed. So they have a high biological value and termed as the first class protein. Animal proteins are considered as the first class proteins, while vegetable proteins, which we get from the fruits and vegetables, have low biological value and are termed as the second class proteins, and they are generally deficient in one or more amino acids. Therefore, we have to find so many sources to replenish the all the types of amino acid. So they are more difficult to digest and absorb also. So absorption is also a problem and digestion is also a problem. Therefore, many of the vegetarian people, they suffer from B complex deficiency and other deficiencies deficiencies. So, whole egg is taken as a reference protein due to its excellent bioavailability. Therefore, we are all dependent on egg as a source of protein because it is a very good source of protein. It is complete as far as amino acids are concerned, and this shortcoming of plant protein can be overcome for our mutual supplementation, taking two kinds of plant protein together. So, if you take the this egg protein along with the other vegetable proteins, then the requirement of the body will be complete, and there will be no deficiency state created in the body. Now, we can consider another example like the Maharashtrian thali. In the Maharashtrian thali, we generally have varan bhat. Now, varan bhat, what is this varan bhat? We have the rice and pulses. Now, rice and pulses together, this constitutes complete protein diet, being taken by using two proteins that are deficient in two different amino acids. So, this constitutes a complete because rice will have some and pulses will have some. So, this wholesome will complete the requirement of protein. So, in growing years as well as in hypermetabolic states such as pregnancy, fever, infection is different as compared to those who are in the stable states. So, protein required is expressed in relation to body weight. So, this is also true that whatever amount of protein is needed, because in the growing stage, that is in the children, the requirement of protein. So, in infants up to 3 months of age, the protein requirement is about 2.5 gram per kg body weight. Then post this, the protein requirement is 2 to 1.5 grams. See, there is a decrease body weight up till adolescence. And in adulthood, after 18 years of age, the protein requirement again decreases. It is about 1 gram or a kg body weight. So, in adulthood or in the old age, there is only maintenance. There is no, we don't need to synthesize for making purpose, for growing purpose. We just need the protein for the pulses and can you see the slide?
Yes,
Yes.
madam.
Is it balanced diet?
No, no, no.
No, ma'am.
Animal protein are superior. This slide is there.
Okay.
13th slide.
Actually, that is what I am thinking because something is happening. And now, sir, is it visible? The balanced diet.
Yes, visible.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
If I make it the slideshow, then also it is very difficult. Are they moving?
Not moving, just read one. Not
Can
moving.
you see the balanced diet?
Yes, balanced diet is I
Madam,
was seeing. Just
Screen
you
is
read it.
not visible. Ma'am, please. Screen is
Yes.
not visible.
It's not visible?
No, screen
Yes,
is
yes.
visible.
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 Actually, visibility problem arises when we have a network problem.
Yes, it's visible. You can explain, madam.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Now, we have discussed the macronutrients. Now, these macronutrients, you know what are the macronutrients, what are the requirements for the body and all. Now, the balanced diet. What is the balanced diet? This is a diet that provides all nutrients in their correct proportion so that our life is fulfilled. And the biological requirement of an individual is fulfilled. It neither creates a deficiency nor an excess amount of any other nutrients. So, balanced diet means the optimum diet. So, balanced diet for different individuals is different and is dependent on the biological need of an individual. So, balanced diet is not fixed. So, sometimes we get confused. The doctor has said if we Google and if we get that this is the balanced diet and if we follow that and we don't get the results, we get disappointed. But this is true because it is not fixed for an individual, because your body conditions are different and the diet made for that particular individual which is there on the Google is different. So therefore it does not give you that effect. So biological demand for carbohydrate, fats as well as vitamins required for the metabolism will be higher in an athlete than in a person with a sedentary desk job. So if what type of job you are performing, it all depends that what type of diet you have to take. So just remember what things you need to take in your diet. So a balanced diet should have cereals, pulses, vegetable and fruits, milk and milk products, oils and fats and the sugars. Now in case of non-vegetarians, it should also contain animal proteins and eggs on a regular basis. A balanced diet should contain all the above said food groups in our daily diet in a balanced manner. We should have all these things in a balanced manner so that all the nutritional requirement of the body are fulfilled. So, when we consider about the cereals, they are the energy rich and form a major source of carbohydrate in our diet. So, what amount we require? 350 kilocalorie per kg. Then we have rice, maize, sorghum, jawar, bajra. All these things are very essential because if one is deficient in some amino acids, other will fulfill the demand. Therefore, we should incorporate all these staple foods. Like you should also take wheat, you can take rice, you should take maize, you should take sorghum, you should take jawar, you should take bajra. So the cereals are deficient in protein and the proteins present in them are generally deficient in one amino acid or the another. Therefore, in order to balance, we have to take the variety of food. So they contain adequate mineral, but the absorption of mineral from them is insufficient. Now, is the slide moving? The outer covering is rich in vitamin B complex. The cereals. Here, what happens? The husk or the outer covering of that particular seed is rich in the vitamin B complex. And what happens? What we do is we remove the seed coat by milling, and when we remove the seed coat, we remove the B complex, and we don't get from it. So pulses are rich source of protein among vegetarian food, but similar to other vegetables, proteins they are deficient in certain amino acid. But these deficiencies can be overcome by supplementing with cereals. So we can have a variety of cereals and pulses so that they complement each other and fulfill the protein requirement of our body. So is true with the germinating food. Germinating we take moong and moat and all, we germinate those pulses. What for? They are a very important source of vitamin C and B complex. So the vegetables and the fruits are the most important source of water soluble and certain fat soluble vitamins in our body. Apart from that, they are also important source of fiber. So for fiber purpose also we take that. They provide minerals and the carbohydrates too. And contribution to protein in our diet is negligible. See, fruits and vegetables, they give us negligible amount of protein. Then the dairy products from almost forms a complete diet. It contains all nutrients other than vitamin C and iron. So, dairy products, they don't have only the vitamin C and the iron. Other things are present in it. It is especially good source of calcium. So milk is also rich in saturated fats. I said that we need unsaturated fats. So the protein content of milk can be increased by converting to curd. So if you want that the protein should contain the milk should contain more amount of protein, then instead of consuming milk, you consume the curd. Curd can also be eaten by those who are lactose intolerant. So this is another issue of lactose intolerance. Those people they cannot tolerate lactose, that is the milk, and therefore they should take this protein in the form of curd. Then fats and oils form the essential part of the diet. They are obtained from fats and oils we add to our food during cooking. So whatever the oil we use, they constitute the essential part of our diet. Then lipids present in the cereals and pulses and fats present in the meat and eggs. So we should try to avoid saturated fats in our diet, as I told you earlier. Then include unsaturated lipid in the form of oil. So this is repetition, I will not go in detail of this. So it all depends. The balanced diet should take care of the energy requirement of a body. Then the energy requirement of an individual has to provide for the energy requirement for the various activities as well as growth and repair of wear and tear of the body. So the basic purpose of taking a balanced diet is we need to repair our body as well as growth. In case of infants and children, growth is important, and in case of elderly, wear and tear of the body, it has to be taken care of. Hence, energy requirement is dependent on the sex, build as well as the lifestyle of an individual. So this is the fruit and vegetable things which we need. So we need about at least 400 grams, 5 portion of fruits and vegetables, 10% of total intake from free sugars, then less than 30% of total energy intake from fats. Then we need salt. And now salt is a very important component. Nowadays what is happening, people are switching from normal salt to the senda namak, or we call rock salt. But rock salt, the literature is saying that rock salt is to be taken because it is very good and it provides so many benefits. And in Ayurveda also, the Ayurvedic practitioner, they ask us to take rock salt. But the very important aspect they are forgetting, and which is very deleterious for the health of us, is that rock salt is devoid of iodine, which is very essential for our body. Therefore, we should optimize the use of rock salt. We should take a blend. Sometimes you take the normal salt which has been iodinated, and sometimes you can take the rock salt. But never completely keep away the iodized salt from your diet. So it is very essential. Then water, a normal healthy person needs about 8 glasses of water a day, and it depends upon the weather. So during hot weather, you will require more water, and even the activities which you perform. So this has been recommended by ICMR. Now this is the platter, a platter which is needed for everyone. 150 grams of fruits we need. Whatever fruits are available, seasonal fruits should be consumed, because seasonal fruits, they are natural in their form, and they are not adulterated. And the foods which are not available in a particular season, you should not consume those, because they are kept refrigerated and they are processed with different chemicals. So the seasonal fruits you should take. Then pulses, eggs and flesh foods, you need 90 grams of it. Then you have nuts and seeds, the dry fruits, 30 grams of it are needed. Then fats and oil, 27 grams. Cereals and nutraceuticals, 240 grams. And you have vegetables, which amounts to be more as compared to all the other food. And that is 350 grams of it, which is needed for the body. So this is all about health and nutrition from my side. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Thank you, ma'am,
Thank
for
you, sir.
your very good speech on the topic biochemistry and nutrition. And you have cleared all the aspects related to it. Now, after the keynote speech, it is time for all of us to discuss on the topic. So, questions are welcome from the participants, please.
Hello.
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes,
This
sir.
is Professor Prasad Kadam.
Yes, sir.
The topic you have been explained here, the way and the information is very joyful to us. And actually, the diet literacy is more important
Yes, sir.
in Indian food system also.
Yes, sir.
I am going to gym regularly.
Yes.
I just want to ask that the soybean has, you have explained that all amino acids are included in the soybean diet.
Yes, sir.
But sometimes it may say that it has a side effects on the body.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very important question you have asked. Actually, the time is very short and it is very difficult to consider all the aspects. But I would like to highlight on the aspects of soybean. It is very essential that everyone should know, because in the newspaper or in the web pages we find the usefulness of soybean. Now, soybean, it is called as it's a complete protein. But unless and until it is processed, you should not take soybean as such, because soybean has anti-nutrients. Now, what are these anti-nutrients? Soybean has trypsin inhibitors. Now, these trypsin inhibitors they inhibit the protein. So, whatever amount of other protein you take in your diet, they inhibit those proteins. So, the deficiency state is created in the body. So, what you should do? Although soybean is very good, so in order to have all the benefits of soybean, you have to process that. Now, processing can be done in two ways. Number one is you can roast the soybean and then incorporate in the flour, chapati making or any other form you like. Then another thing is you can sprout the soybean. The sprouting process also eliminates the trypsin inhibitors, and roasting also eliminates the trypsin inhibitors. So in these two ways you can have the usefulness of that soybean. Another very important aspect is in the menopausal and postmenopausal women, the hormone progesterone and estrogen goes down. In these women, if they consume soybean in the form of soya milk or any other form of product, then what happens? The soya bean has isoflavones. These isoflavones, they mimic the estrogen and progesterone, and because of that, the postmenopausal or menopausal women, they are benefited because of the mimicking of this with the hormone, and therefore they get benefited. Therefore, you should advise the postmenopausal and menopausal women to consume more amount of processed soya bean.
Thank you, ma'am, for grateful information. And I would like if you share your PPT towards the organizing committee, then we will get that information more briefly.
Yes, sir, definitely. I'll do it.
Thank you. Thank
you. Ma'am, can I ask one question?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it was very wonderful session, and you told about that amino acids which cannot be synthesized in our body. So 11 amino acids was there, and tryptophan, you told one example. Can you please tell another examples which cannot be synthesized in our body?
See, tryptophan, tyrosine, methionine, then lysine, leucine, phenylalanine, these are the amino acids which are required by the body. These are not available in the body. We need to synthesize them. So there are many things from which these amino acids are synthesized. So you can say the byproducts of it you can take, and then it will be synthesized, or as such the amino acid containing food you should take. So actually beforehand, what every individual should do is, whatever you eat, you should have a track कि मैं जो खा रही हूँ या खा रहा हूँ उसमें क्या है. Blindly you should not consume the food. You should have the information. Now it's very easy. You can Google with the tip of your finger. You can get the information. So whenever you have a plate in front of you, you should actually inquire what I am eating today and what benefit it is going to cause me. And you know that yes, whatever food you take, that also affects your mental growth also. So it is very important that the emotional and the mental aspect of the health are also to be taken care of along with this.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks a lot.
Any other question?
Ma'am, there is one question in chat box, and the question is, nowadays protein powder is recommended, whether it is good or bad.
Protein powder, I don't say that it is recommended. See what happens. Nowadays the people, those who want to lose weight, the gym or the trainers, they prescribe the protein powders. Now since they are refined, any refined thing is not good for you. Your body needs to process it, and then the utilization should be there. This may lead to ketosis, ketogenesis, and ketone body formation, and and high protein diet can harm your kidneys. Therefore, you should not take. They don't tell you the long-term effect of that protein powder or the processed food, but the processed food will have long-term effect for your body. अभी तो अपना weight loss भी हो जाएगा और हम बहुत अच्छा दिखने लगेंगे, everything will happen. But in the long term, what is going to happen? Because at that time वो अपने हाथ खड़े कर देंगे और बोलेंगे कि हमारे वजह से नहीं हुआ, तुमको कोई और problem हुआ होगा. But this causes the long-term effect. So you should pay attention on it. Whatever natural is there, we should depend on that. All the natural things, try to have exercise, try to use the food which is readily available, which our ancestors has given us. Farm field product we should use. It's okay, but don't make it a habit. So processed protein food are also not good for the health. After major operation of shootout by bullet. So for this, special diets are recommended by the dietitian. Now it is the ICMR who is saying that every hospital should have their own dietitian. And the dietitian, whenever you are admitted or you are undergoing any hospitalization, then they recommend you, the dietitian tells you what type of food you will take. So they will tell you the food which is required for your body at that particular state.
A very good keynote speech and question answer session, which was very fruitful for all of us. Now it is time to listen to the chief organizer, and chairperson of this webinar series, Honorable Principal Dr. M. Bedkar sir. Ma'am, there is one question in the chat box in Hindi.
Yes sir. Yes sir. एक्चुअली 24 आवर्स के बाद फ्रिज में का कोई भी चीज खाना नहीं है. 24 hours maximum to 48 hours. I never prepare food that will last for a day. एक दिन में जितना खा सकते हैं उतना ही बनाना है और उतना ही खाना है. You should not freeze the food and you should not eat. You might not be knowing that in the fridge you have the bacteria which are temperature tolerant. वो बैक्टीरिया फ्रिज के टेम्परेचर में बहुत अच्छे से पनपते हैं और वो अपना काम चालू रखते हैं एंड यू आर नॉट अवेयर ऑफ दैट. तो ये जो बैक्टीरियाज है दे स्पॉइल द फूड एंड दे हार्म, और ये इसकी वजह से बहुत सारे कैंसर्स भी कॉज हो रहे हैं. इसीलिए फ्रीज्ड फूड शुड नॉट बी टेकन. अगेन व्हेनेवर यू बाय बेकरी प्रोडक्ट और द फ्रिज आइटम यू शुड टेक केयर कि आप कौन सी दुकान से ले रहे हो, वो दुकान चलती है कि नहीं चलती है. अगर वो दुकान चलती नहीं है तो वो दुकानदार के पास वो माल बहुत दिनों से वो फ्रिज में रखा हुआ है एंड दैट यू आर कंज्यूमिंग. So before going to any shop for buying the freezed item, you should look after this aspect, and you should consume it within 24 or 48 hours, not more than that.
Is anybody having any question? Now, after very fruitful keynote speech and useful question answer session, I invite Chairperson and Chief Organizer of this webinar series, Honorable Principal Dr. M. Bedkar sir, for concluding words. Please sir, welcome.
Thank you, Professor sir, Karad sir. I think I am audible. And today's resource person, Shalini J. Chandele madam, the organizing committee members including vice principal sir, junior college supervisors, Karanje sir, Udge sir, all the faculty members joined from my college including Prasad Kadam sir, who is actively participated in this today's discussion, Prashant Ughade sir, Jamuntrao Kadam sir, Anita Dole madam, and all the participants, those who are joining daily here. Today, more than 100 participants were joined for listening this information. It was an event when Madam's College, Chandele Madam's College have organized one webinar on IPR. So at that time I sent message her about the IPR, all these things, and from that we communicated and I requested her to give a talk here, and she accepted and said that I am the teacher from biochemistry, and she given the topic biochemistry and human nutrition. It was the understandable and useful topic to all. She also explained the need of that, what is biochemistry, what are the nutrients, how they are useful as per the age and as per the sex and all as per the requirement of the body mass index. So this is the basic information, and also she give answers about the proteins and all these things, those who have asked here. So every aspect of the resource person's speech useful to us, and we have to take benefit from that. Today I also listened from her about the rock salt excess. We have to avoid the rock salt using, but we have to supplement our regular iodized salt also. So it's something every day we getting new knowledge from such a resource person's contribution, and all we have enjoyed this topic, useful topic, and the tips given by our resource person madam will be very useful to those who are student or adult age also. As she said that at adult age we just have to maintain, there is no need of growth. So everything was very nicely explained by resource person madam. Thank you Shalini J. Chandele madam for joining here as a resource person and giving a speech on this very useful topic to us. Thank you madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you all the organizers and principal, sir, for giving us this opportunity to present before you. So I'm very grateful to all of you.
Just wait for formal vote of
Now I am here on behalf of the organizing committee of webinar series Shri Kumarswami College Ausa for the vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to thank today's honorable speaker, Dr. Shalini ma'am, who has accepted the invitation of our college and given a very nice speech on the topic which is beneficial for all of us, and these tips will be useful for us to implement in our lives for good health, physical and mental. So on behalf of the organizing committee of webinar series, I sincerely thank you ma'am for such a wonderful speech. I also thank the chief organizer and chairperson of this webinar series for his concluding words and for his appreciation of the today's keynote speech and his studious comments on the keynote speech. And he is an inspiration for all of us, which is keeping this webinar series going on very successfully. So thank you, sir. I also thank all the participants who are very punctually attending the webinars and listening patiently, taking active participation in the question answer sessions, which are helping to enrich our knowledge. So thank you participants. I also thank Dr. Anita Dole ma'am, who has given very good introduction of today's honorable speaker. Thank you ma'am. And now I request all the participants, do not forget to fill feedback link to have your certificate. And at the end, with the permission of chief organizer and chairperson of this webinar series, I declare here that today's webinar is over. Thanks to all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. You can leave and take rest because we keep this for 5 minutes for filling the feedback link. Thank you. गाडीची चावी
సాయంత్రం పంపడి 5 மணிக்கு
खालच्या छोट्या गाडीची
காலையில போக முடியாது காலையில டாக்டர் இருக்க மாட்டாருல்ல சாயந்தரம் டாக்டர் எப்படி போவீங்க நான் காலேஜ் போயிட்டேனா அவனும் தூங்குவான் நானும் காலேஜ் போனேன் காலேஜ் இருக்கு ரெண்டு மூணு 4-5 நாள் ஆச்சு சரி வர திங்கட்கிழமை என்ன டியூட்டி நாளா இருக்கு பன்னெண்டரைக்கு உங்க அப்பா கூட்டிட்டு போன ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் நான் காலேஜ் போயிடுவேன் திங்கட்கிழமை என்னடா இன்னைக்கு 9, 10, 11 தேதி
हाँ सर नाही चालते 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 कधी या ज्यावेळेस आपण येऊ का भेटा त्याला मदत होईल तुम्हाला